America's running back. When I was a kid, there was a running back who could fly. Thinking, how could a guy run for 275 yards? Walter Payton was a better quarterback than Johnny Manziel. One of the most respected voices in Chicago sports media. He also happens to be the son of the best running back that I've ever seen walk this planet.
One of those moments I'll never ever forget. This dude is like got sweatbands on and he's got his hand on the car, like muscles bulging out. Like his fashion sense was ahead of his time.
It is the Walter Payton episode. And I am dressed appropriately for it. I trust that you recognize. And we're going to be joined a little bit later in the program by Walter's son, Jarrett Payton, who will discuss his dad's legacy. I can finally maybe get him to take me behind the scenes on some of my favorite Walter Payton tweets. And we're certainly going to be looking at a number of my favorite Walter tweets today. He is our guest of honor on this program. And last night at Soldier Field, Monday Night Football, the Vikings in town, and the Bears celebrating the 40th anniversary of that great 1985 Bears team, both before the game and at halftime. Walter Payton's widow, Connie, on hand, as well as my guest today, Jarrett Payton, and his sister, Brittany, to honor and represent the legacy of their father, and of course, what I consider to be, those 85 Bears, the best team of my lifetime in the NFL. And the celebration was great, and the evening was looking like it was going to be perfect right around the time in the third quarter when Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy threw a pick six, and the Bears went up 17-6 in the second half. And right around that time, you heard a collective, uh-oh, coming from the state of Minnesota. Because I've said it many times, you got a 14-3 team. Sam Darnold, who, look, he's got his own problems, all right? Week one for him in his new home in Seattle didn't go so swimmingly either. But I was really surprised that the Vikings would elect to hand the car keys to a 14-win team to a guy who's never taken a snap in the NFL before last night. And for about 2.5 quarters, maybe for 3 quarters, it looked like a very valid question. I happen to think that it still is a good question. But let's talk about fourth quarter J.J. McCarthy. He led the Vikings all the way back, becoming the first rookie quarterback to ever account for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of his debut game. This is what you want in a fucking QB. I've waited all my life for someone like this, says J.J. McCarthy season, but look at the look on his face. The kid does exude winner energy, and you can't deny it. He found a way in his first ever game to bring his team back on the road and do something that no other debuting quarterback has ever done in the history of the NFL, which is 2 by air, 1 on the ground. He accounted for 3 touchdowns. The Vikings come back and win. One thing to note here, however, before we get all excited, you remember the scene in Pulp Fiction where Harvey Keitel reminds them that they shouldn't start sucking each other's popsicles just yet? No rookie quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl. So let's be clear about that. And my criticism of the Vikings' decision to go with J.J. McCarthy this year and not pursue Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, who looked pretty damn good in his debut for the Steelers, is the fact that Super Bowl windows sometimes are very short. And the Vikings have a legitimate Super Bowl opportunity with the team they have, and I'm thinking that they're going to waste it on a rookie quarterback. Because, again, it's not about J.J. McCarthy. I think J.J. McCarthy probably is going to end up being a good NFL quarterback. He might even end up being a great NFL quarterback, but it's a lot to ask somebody to go win a Super Bowl in their first year. Okay, debut game, he did something no other rookie quarterback has ever done. Maybe he can do something no other rookie quarterback has ever done, but that's a big fucking ask for this kid to go get a Lombardi. And take a look at this. And look how he's holding it. He's holding that. Notice that he didn't grab it by the shaft, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't blame him.
Just a tip.
A green dildo making its way into the end zone there. It would have been nice if the Bears could have gotten into the end zone as easily as the dildo did in the second half. Perhaps we would be talking about a Chicago victory today, but 2025, I don't know, guys. It's going to go down in history as the year of the green dildo. Apparently, this is just where we are in society today. I hope that no one was injured or traumatized as that was tossed. And as I said here, my friends, we're not going to let the Bears getting off to 0-1 start dampen Walter Payton Day here on this program. We're going to look back at some of the greatest moments in Super 70s in discussing Walter Payton. And I always tell people say, what's the Linda Carter break? And I tell them the Linda Carter break was just a reason for me to do a tweet that I knew would be successful, didn't require any brain power from me. I'll just throw Linda Carter up there. People will appreciate her. I can go outside and take a smoke break. Walter Payton functions in kind of the same way, honestly, because his awesomeness is remembered so fondly by so many. All you got to do is throw up a picture like that, and I can go outside. That's a tweet off for me. Nobody went over the top like Walter Payton. I've said it before. When I was a kid, there was a running back who could fly, and it seemed like a normal thing to me. Where are the running backs who do that today? Who's the last running back that you saw do that? I didn't realize how incredibly special it was because I grew up with Walter Payton. I've come to realize it was not remotely normal at all. America's running back, I have called him the best running back of my lifetime. I would say it's a very short list. My Mount Rushmore of running backs is going to have Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders. I don't know who's number 4. Earl Campbell for peak value. O.J. Simpson for peak value, Ronnie.
Thank
I know
you.
you're listening. And there's not even a button for this move. Look at this. Look at this. And it's grainy. I know that this photo here is about 3 pixels. But take a look at that move. I wish that we had the actual move that he made there. That would have shown it to you. But yeah, you should be wearing a top hat and holding a cane when you can move like that. And unlike Fred Astaire, Walter could just run your ass over if he elected not to go around you. He was part poetry and he was part blunt force trauma. And we talk about in this city of Chicago, the flu game. Michael Jordan in the finals, right? The flu game. Walter Payton had a flu game too. And I know that some of you remember this. What did Walter Payton do when he had the flu and a 101 degree game time temperature? He went out and he ran for 275 yards on the Minnesota Vikings.
Insane
because
number.
he was Walter Payton. Is what he did, which at the time was the record. Yeah, that was the record for a long time. And I remember the first year that I collected football cards, there was a record breaker card in the top set about this game. And I remember just looking at that card and thinking, how could a guy run for 275 yards in an NFL game? But as I said, he may have flown for about 50 of those. The other 225 came on the ground. And I tweeted this out just a couple of years ago when I took 3 of my daughters to see Taylor Swift at Soldier Field. We were lucky enough to get tickets through Ticketmaster, so I didn't, I'm not going to be paying those off until I'm 90 years old. But as I was sitting in the stadium, looking around at all of these bedazzled teenage girls in cowboy hats and all of these kids that were excited to see Taylor Swift, I tweeted out, I'm sitting in Soldier Field with my daughters waiting for Taylor Swift, surrounded by more sequins than I've seen in my goddamn life. And all I can think about is how many yards Walter Payton ran for in this motherfucker. I promise you, I'm the only one. I may not have been the only one, but I looked like I was probably the only person there that was just looking around and thinking, man, how do you run for 1,800 yards with Bob Avellini as your quarterback?
You had that jersey on at the
Well,
concert, right?
I did not, but I should have. In retrospect, Rod, that was a missed opportunity for me there, And here's something else. You talk about Payton, Ron. He was versatile. He has a lot of attempted passes in his career. If you go to his football reference page, you're going to see that he threw a lot of passes for a running back in his career. And here's a little factoid that I like to tweet out about, maybe annually at this point. Walter Payton has 2 more career NFL touchdown passes than Johnny Manziel. 9-7, Ron. Johnny Manziel threw 7 TD passes in the NFL. Walter had 8 during the regular season, and he threw one in the playoffs too in 1984. So 9-7 scoreboard. Walter Payton was a better quarterback than Johnny Manziel. And this guy here obviously agrees. Here's another Browns fan. Unlike the Browns fan who's famous for walking around with about 50 quarterback names on the back of his jersey, this guy just decided he was going to get creative with his Manziel jersey. A little bit of duct tape and a Sharpie. And you can see the upgrade has been made here. It's now, man, we suck after week 1, 17-16 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I will now welcome to the program a man who certainly does not suck. He's the opposite of sucky. He is the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, week 1 in the books now in the NFL. And appropriate, I think, today that Walter Payton is sort of our guest of honor as we put the Super 70 Sports spotlight on him as we're theming all of our programs now. And who better to be one of the very first recipients of the honor of being themed on this program than a guy who has given me probably about as many quality tweets as any individual that I've ever tweeted about.
Yeah, man, I would really encourage anybody that's watching this show now, or if you're going to watch it on YouTube later, after you're done watching the show on YouTube, please type Walter Payton into the search and watch his highlights, because Ricky's not just some old guy remembering the old days and thinking that they were better than they are now. The dude was legit. He could play today. He'd be the best running back today. I seriously encourage people who have never seen him, watch his highlights. Absolutely amazing, Ricky.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. Yes, go to YouTube and check it out. And I'm so excited to have Jarrett Payton on the program today. Jarrett and I we've gone back and forth on X through the years, but we've never had the opportunity to speak with each other. And Ron, this is a photo of Walter Payton going up the hill, which is famously where he would just abuse his body during the offseason, running up this dangerously steep hill in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And one of the things that I want to talk to Jarrett Payton about here in a few moments today on the show is the story behind why that was so meaningful to his father and what
is the hill still there?
Who his dad was.
You know if the hill is still there?
It is still there. It is still there. They've actually got a little marker up. This city dedicated it to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there. You can see. Yeah. Payton's Hill is what it's called now. And
you should videotape yourself trying to do it. You should video yourself trying to do it.
I don't think it's as steep as it used to be. I think there have been some changes, so I might have a shot only for that. Only for that reason, Ron. But, certainly here today wearing the Payton jersey, and that's a very familiar sight all around Chicago. There are certain guys' jerseys that you see a lot of in this town, especially during football season. And there's always a lot of people walking around wearing the familiar Bears 34. But, Ronnie, Sometimes jerseys don't look right on our favorite athletes. When you get used to somebody in a certain location and you associate them with a particular team, it can almost be kind of jarring when you see them playing for somebody else. And sometimes you even forget that it happens. Some of these little cameos that guys have made later in their careers with other teams, it's also kind of a reminder. For instance, I tweeted this out on Super70sSports this week. I said, it's time for another doesn't look right in that uniform thread. And I started it off with Fernando Valenzuela when he was a Cardinal, which honestly, probably most people don't even remember.
That looks so weird.
That he thought it was
photoshopped. And so, I thought it was photoshopped.
Yeah, I love the responses we get. This is one that I will usually tweet out once or twice a year because people love this. And check out
look at that duo right there.
Akeem Olajuwon D'ing up Patrick Ewing. Raptors Magic. What says Raptors versus Magic any better than Akeem the Dream and Patrick Ewing?
Quintessential. Quintessential.
How's that for a matchup? Yeah, classic. And then, right there below it, there's one that's pretty familiar. Joe Montana spent a few years in Kansas City. Ken Stabler moving on to the Houston Oilers. Back in the days when Topps was too cheap to spring for being able to show the logos on their football cards. There's Dwight Evans, friend of the program. When he was with the Orioles at the very end of his career. Again, this guy's a Red Sox, but
that's pretty funny.
For a minute he wasn't. How about, oh my God. Well, I didn't see that one coming. Looks like they got traded from the U.S. Enterprise to the other team there. I'm sure that they are only gathering intelligence and information on behalf of the good guys. Ron Santo at the very end of his year going cross town to the south side and manning third base for the White Sox is one that never looks right. How about Harmon Killebrew as a Kansas City Royal at the very end of his career? We always think Minnesota Twins, but now he was a Royal for a minute. Well, now hang on. That's not real. That's not real.
He's definitely not an angel. He's definitely not an angel.
He created angels. I'll tell you that. You're going to be an angel whether you want to be one or not.
Wait, Ken Griffey Jr. played for the White Sox?
Motherfucker. Yes, he sure did. And he wore number 17 to make it even extra
I just learned that
weird.
Today, Rick. Just learned it just now.
Well, see, there you go.
Wow.
There you go. I'm glad that you're out of your coma. But yeah, wearing number 17 too. That makes it doubly odd. So it's endlessly fascinating. I mean, again, this is one of those threads that there's always some picture that comes up that just gives somebody that very reaction that you just had. So
yeah.
Walter Payton, however, a Chicago Bear through and through, and we're going to talk a little bit later in the program. Our Give Me 5 today, Ron. Top 5 Chicago Bears legends. And we'll see where Walter Payton ranks. I don't want to put a spoiler on it, but I can
feel
tell
like
you
he'll
that
make
he's
the
going to
top
rank
5.
very high. He will definitely make the top 5. There's no suspense there. And Josh Allen probably already ranks in the top 5 of Buffalo Bills legends. I would have to say you got to give it to him. How many MVPs have the Bills ever had? I mean, he's certainly right up there. We won't have that one today. Maybe we'll have Buffalo Bills Day on the program sometime later on, Ron. But yet another reason to like Josh Allen. You can see here Adam Schefter tweeting out, ahead of the Sunday night game this week against the Ravens, Josh Allen wore one of the first of 9 custom hats designed by patients at the Buffalo, I think it's Oshai Children's Hospital is how that's pronounced. And after each home game, he will have his hat auctioned off to support the Patricia Allen Fund. This hat was designed by a 5-year-old patient named Jackson. So, it just seems like every time that we get a story on Josh Allen, it's something like this. All this guy does is play the quarterback position at a very, very high level. He may be the best in the league. He is the reigning MVP. If you wanted to tell me he's the best quarterback in the league, I would not argue with you, with respect for Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. But he seems like he's an even better human being. He's easy to root for. And another thing, Ronnie, that it's always easy for me to root for on this program is this very moment. Because by God, my friends, you don't need me to tell you, it's time for America's Poll of the Day. Let's go to it now. It's Super70sSports on X where the eagle flies high. And like a J.J. McCarthy wounded duck, we're going to take it back to the house for 6 points today, Ron. I'm taking a victory lap on this kid, even though he did something historic to beat us last night, because, damn it, that loss is hitting hard. I know P.A. Jarrett is riding high today, however, feeling good about the young stud who is now an undefeated 1-0 in his NFL career. And we're not fucking around today. Take a look at this poll. Some days we bring it a little stronger than others, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm throwing fastballs with this one. Ron, we'll start it out with French fries. Who doesn't like French fries? If you don't like French fries, just get out of the chair now. Leave. Be gone. I just don't even want to see you sitting there when we move away from this graphic. Second, we've got Mike Tyson, one of the greatest heavyweight champions. He's become one of our most beloved elder statesmen in sports. You could have won some money if you went back to the early 90s and explained to people that 30 years in the future, we were all going to love Mike Tyson. A lot of people would have found that hard to believe. Third, we've got Pac-Man, maybe the most influential video game of all time, arguably. And finally, last, I love it, you love it. Again, I don't even want to be friends with anybody who doesn't love it. New car smell, Ron. You just suck all of those chemicals from the factory into your lungs, and my God, does it smell sweet. Break it down for me, Ronnie T-shirt says, only you can.
French fries. So many different variations of French fries. I don't know where to start, don't know where to end. But my God, do I love French fries. Are you
a crinkle guy?
Say that again?
Are you a shoestring guy?
Oh, gosh.
Are you a crinkle cut guy? Shoestring guy? Curly guy?
I like them all, man. Like, I love curly fries.
Steak
I love
fries?
waffle fries. Love steak fries. I love when they get, I love hand cut when they double fry them and they get really kind of not burnt, but just right before they're burnt. And you know what I like to do with French fries at McDonald's or at Burger King? Dip them in a milkshake.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. I mean, what's there to say? Mike Tyson. I mean, he's Mike Tyson. Pac-Man. I played Pac-Man, Ricky, believe it or not. I played Pac-Man and it was fine. Don't know the last time I played it.
Like you had some great times, Ron.
I was gonna say, well, dude, it was
Pac-Man. All the memories. All the memories of the joy that Pac-Man brought
not
you.
A whole lot to it,
flooding
man.
back.
Not a whole lot to it.
It was a
new
lot
car
of fun,
smell.
Ron.
New car smell. Absolutely love it. I will never smell a new car again because I'll never have that smell again in my car because my God, is it a terrible use of money to buy a brand new car. Got to buy him a year or two old.
Ron, you take 9 vacations a year. Just
because I don't buy new cars.
You're gonna
because I don't buy new cars.
Poor.
Because I don't buy new cars.
On a vacation. I can't even.
I save my money. I save my money, Ricky.
All right. Let somebody else take that first depreciation when you
20% the second it drives off the lot.
Yeah. Well, there's another reason that I lag behind you financially. I bought my car new. It's the first new one that I bought, though, in a while. But all right, so let's go ahead. We've got your analysis on the board. I especially enjoyed Mike Tyson today. He's Mike Tyson.
He's Mike Tyson.
He's Mike Tyson.
I mean, he's done good things. He's done bad things. He's done good things. He's done bad things. He's funny sometimes. Sometimes he's mean. Like, he is just all over the board. He's Mike Tyson. Like, I thought I did a good job.
He's never
Mike
done
Tyson.
anything out of the blue. That was for the 3 people that understand that reference.
Yeah, I'm not one of them.
David Bowie, ashes to ashes, Ron. I didn't expect you to be. Let's go to Tim right now. Producer Tim, why don't you join us here? I'm getting a little out there with David Bowie references that are arcane by even Dennis Miller standards here. You've heard Ronnie's Cracker Jack analysis. How do you feel about this menu that we have before us today, Tim?
I really think you've been using Grok or GPT exquisitely this past week, because goddamn, these are so tight and so close. Like, to me, all 4 of them could be number 1 or number 2 seeds in any tournament. So super jam-packed. And have we really never used any of these before? That's still the criteria, right, for the poll? We haven't reused.
Well, we try. We're not batting a thousand. I don't think any of us have such an airtight memory.
Situation with,
but
I don't know, man.
I believe has been in at least one somewhere along.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man.
I'm a little surprised French fries lasted this long without us using it, but I believe this is
it should almost be like you can't have it on there. But listen, man, it's hard not to go with fries. Tyson, great, amazing. I can't believe he's going to do this exhibition now in the spring.
Oh God,
good Lord, yeah,
such a
terrible.
Joke. Never again.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah.
I watched the Tyson Jake Paul fiasco. I had some money on Tyson. That's how excited I was. What a complete non-effort. Look, when you fight so bad that the best case scenario is that you're just that bad because you're old now, that people think that you're just not trying, there's no scenario there that's good. Either you're not trying and you're doing that in a match that was not, unlike this Floyd Mayweather thing, it wasn't an exhibition, Tim. It went on the permanent records. Like, if you go look at Tyson's record, so I never again. And Floyd Mayweather, give me a break. Absolute joke. Anybody, I won't even watch it. And I'm a boxing fan, Tim.
Come on, you got plenty of money. Why are you doing it? So I'm going to go fries as much as I could. I think all of them are a 1 and a 1A, but I'm going fries. Hard not to.
All right, French fries. Look, my kids, I probably, spend more on potato products than all but about 10 people in America. The way that my daughters love French fries. Shout out to Katie here on the program today. That's her favorite food. Mike Tyson, look, I love Tyson. I think he's actually become sort of a source of wisdom in a lot of cases. He's always been a deceptively deep thinker. I think he's made some changes in his life, and I'm glad for him. If he makes money from this Floyd Mayweather thing, I don't begrudge him that. I'm just not interested in it. Pac-Man was a big deal back in the day, man. I like to take, $3 or $4 worth of quarters down to the Fun Factory at the Cave City Minute Mart, and I would play Pac-Man, and it was a big deal. I was never that good at it, but when you got to 10,000, you earn the extra Pac-Man at that point. They play out the little scene where he
they meet.
Is being chased across the screen. So that was always a big deal. And then lastly, new car smells great, but once the smell is gone and you realize that you've spent a lot of money, you become a realist like Ron. It's a very temporary joy. With all respect to Mike Tyson, I also must vote for French fries today. And I'm getting hungry as well talking about this. I expect French fries to win, and I'll be disappointed in America if they don't. All right. Good judgment here from the Super 70s Nation. 45% going French fries. Mike Tyson, a distant second, over 20%. Daylight between first and second today. Third place is going to be new car smell and Pac-Man. Oh, how we forget. Get a few decades on us, we get older, video game technology improves, and suddenly the waka waka becomes a womp womp. We just don't appreciate the OG like we used to. Speaking of OGs, how about this Missouri fan, guys? Ron, did you see this? Missouri fan has an opportunity. They're playing Kansas at Mizzou, and he's got a chance to kick a field goal for $25,000. But he called an audible once he was on the field. Pulls his shirt up here. Take a look. It says FKU. He fakes kicking the field goal, turns around, squibs it at the Kansas sideline. Is that a baller move? What do you think, Ron?
1,000 times better.
I mean, I got to be honest. Like, look, he's lined up for the field goal. He's getting ready to go kick it, right? He's like, look, I'm going to kick it. No, I'm not. Maybe our first clue should have been when we noticed he has a prosthetic leg, Ron. Did you notice this?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, because I said that. I said, did you know? I actually said before you said that him having a prosthetic leg makes it 1,000 times better. Did you see?
Yeah, my bad. I didn't hear you.
Sophie Cunningham, I think she quote tweeted him and basically said, "You're a legend." Because, Sophie went to Missouri, and I think
was she half naked and shaking her ass at the camera when she said it, Ron?
She actually, I actually believe she was.
Where she was.
I believe she was.
She? Okay.
But yeah, I mean, what's so great about that? Listen,
expected.
that dude knew with his prosthetic leg he had no chance of making the field goal. So why not be a legend? Like, it was awesome.
Why not create a viral moment?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's a great American. No doubt about it. And here's one for you, Ron, that I'll be very interested to get your thoughts on. As I said, I'm going to be asking Jarrett Payton here in a few minutes about his dad's training regimen, where he would run up what is now known as Payton's Hill. Take a look at this. Syracuse's coach, Ron, after a victory. This is actually after a win, but just a win that was not up to the standards that he obviously expected of his squad. He's got them running wind sprints on the field after the game. How does this sit with you?
So I have two thoughts on this. One, I think it's try hard. Like you're showing everybody, look what a great coach I am. I hold everybody accountable no matter what. But then he's actually also holding them accountable no matter what. But it's kind of like he did it so everybody could see. Like, had he done it in private, I think it would have been a better move. And then I saw something, I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly this is against NCAA rules to use a physical, like something physical as a punishment. So I don't know. I get why he did it. I just think it should have been done in private.
Yeah, I think it's kind of silly and stupid.
No, it's try hard.
To be honest, the way that it was done. Was he wearing a pair of these shorts, Ron? I have to believe that he was wearing these shorts when he called for his players to start running. As I have tweeted before, the official shorts of making somebody run till they vomit.
Wearing
Ronnie,
wearing some spot built shoes at the same time.
Yeah, he's wearing a pair of turf shoes, probably spot belts, maybe ponies at that point. Then he's going to turn around and talk to his coaching staff. All right, guys. If you have not already, I would encourage you to sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind, our newsletter, bi-weekly newsletter that we just launched a couple of months ago. There have only been a few editions of it, and everyone is getting better. Thank you to all you guys for the great feedback that we've gotten on this. We are listening and trying to hit that sweet spot for you of what you want from Super 70s and this program. And you can get in on this fun as well. It's as simple as heading to outkick.com/newsletters and then signing up, whatever email it is that you prefer to use for such things. Sign up, and every 2 weeks, a new edition of Super 70s goodness is going to drop right straight into your inbox. Simple as that. No money involved, no commitment involved. You can unsubscribe anytime you want, but only a fool would do that, because take a look. We've got the Margarita mailbag. Send me your questions. Super 70s yourself is another option that a lot of folks are availing themselves of, sending in their childhood photos or their photos from college or high school, and I'll caption them for you. And we're doing Give Me Fives over there as well, ranking stuff that we debate, the same kinds of conversations that we oftentimes have on this show and on Super 70s. And the Basement Boombox is my bi-weekly mixtape for you, and you can go and look at the older editions of the Basement Boombox simply by heading over to Spotify and typing that in. So head to Outkick.com/newsletters and sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind today. All right, we are going to take it into a break right now, and when we come back, I will be joined by Walter Payton's only son, Jarrett Payton, and we will be talking about his dad's career, and I'll finally get to ask him some of the questions about some of these things I've tweeted about that I've always wanted to know the answer to, and it will all happen straight ahead, right here, right after this, on The Ricky Cobb Show.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football. You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
My guest today is one of the most respected voices in Chicago sports media. He is the anchor for WGN Sports, and he also happens to be the son of the best running back that I've ever seen walk this planet. What a pleasure for me to welcome to the program Jarrett Payton. Jarrett, how are you?
Ricky, it's a pleasure, sir. I mean, for all these years, I've seen the post on social media. This is the first time we get a chance to truly talk. And I want to just say thank you so much, man, for loving my dad. I see you wearing the jersey. There's been days in my life where I wake up in the morning and things just aren't going right. I'm a little upset. And I see a post of you just talking about my dad's sweetness and puts a smile on my face. So thank you, not only for me, but the entire Payton family for helping keeping my dad's legacy alive. We appreciate it.
Well, Jarrett, that's one of the nicest things that anybody's ever said to me, truly. And the love right back to you and your wonderful family. Your dad, for me, like millions, made an impression. And I know that as you've gone through your life, there's probably been innumerable people that you've encountered who have told you how much Walter Payton meant to them and wanted to express that to you. Jarrett, 40 years since the 85 Bears. I mean, you talk about all of the cliches that you could possibly want to get into about how time flies. But last night, the 40th anniversary tribute at Soldier Field, I know it had to be special for you and your mom and your sister. Take me through it and the emotions that you felt yesterday.
Well, Ricky, it was pretty much an honor for us because we were just expecting, we weren't even, my mom was going to go to the game. And I think my sister was in Arizona. So it was kind of like her. I was going to be working. So I wasn't planning on going to the game. I'm normally in studio. But I think it was, when my mom got the call, she's been staying with us throughout the summer, watching my kids play sports and just being around here in Chicago. So she was here. She got a phone call from the Chicago Bears just saying that they wanted us to be honorary captains on opening night. And so I hear my mom screaming downstairs looking for me, and I ran out. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? She said, the Bears want us to be honorary captains. And she had tears rolling down her face. And just knowing what the night was going to mean with the 40th anniversary of the Super Bowl Bears from 85 and all the guys being back. And it just was really cool that they thought about us to be there for that honor. But last night it's so cool, Ricky, to see the guys that played on that team. They watch me grow up, basically. So either they watch me on TV in Chicago or they're just watching me from afar from social media. And they're all my uncles. like I'm about to go on air to do my 4 o'clock kick on WGN. And Richard Dent is like walking over towards me and wanting to talk to me. And they're telling me in my ear, they're like, you got 30 seconds. And I'm like, Dent, I only got 30 seconds. He gives me a huge hug. And then next thing you know, I'm on the air. So to be able to see all my football uncles, it was such a treat. And yeah, my dad's spirit was definitely in the building last night, just to see my mom hold up the trophy as they were going through the line of succession with the trophy and talking, all the players and the widows of guys that aren't there. And man, to hear that place when they mentioned my mom's name and the stadium, Soldier Field, went crazy. You're not supposed to cheer in the press box at all. You're not supposed to cheer, even at halftime. You're not supposed to be cheering, making noise. Ricky, if you could have seen me, I started clapping so loud and everybody looked over at me. And I said, I wish they would tell me to get out of this press box. I was like, nobody came over and said anything. I was cheering for my mom, and such an amazing night last night.
Yeah, if there was ever an exception that was warranted to that rule, believe me, you deserved it last night, and for so much good reason. Jarrett, as you know, I've tweeted about your dad so many times. I'm going to continue to do that, and I just wanted to kind of get into your perspective. You have a very singular perspective as the son of Walter Payton, and growing up with your dad and being raised by this man that so many of us respect and admire so much, not just for being, in my opinion, the greatest running back of all time, but for just being a quality human being who cared about the right things and expressed the right values. You don't hear any stories about Walter Payton met a fan and he was a jerk or whatever, right? The way your dad carried himself is such a big part of the picture of why we love him so much. I wanted to ask you about the Hill. Arlington Heights, Illinois. For some know what I'm talking about, Walter Payton fans, and many are probably wondering why are you asking Jarrett about a hill? But can you tell folks about the Hill, because I think it speaks to just what a different breed of cat your dad was, and that work ethic. Because it's one thing to have great God-given natural talent, which he did certainly, but it's another thing to have that ruthless sort of warrior mentality that he brought to his preparation and that he brought to his craft. To tell everybody what Payton's Hill was about and how that was just a big part of your dad's legacy.
Well, when we moved to Arlington Heights, Ricky, my dad was trying to find something that was comparable to the sand dunes that he was running when he was in Jackson, Mississippi. And there was this old landfill that was near our house in Arlington Heights that he found. And no easy way to get to it, Ricky. You had to park your car in a neighborhood and then jump over some fences, and then literally took you about 15 to 20 minutes just to get to the bottom of the hill where you have to start. And it was the training ground of his greatness to me, because when you talk about the 70s and early 80s, that time guys were using training camp to get in shape. And my dad was way ahead of the curve and ahead of his time, and a visionary that he prepared himself before the season to be able to get ready. So once the season came, there was nothing that could be thrown his way that he wasn't ready for. And so he used to go to this hill, and Ricky, he wouldn't give himself a lot of time off during the off season. Like, there was a short off season for him where after the season, he kind of, I would say maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And then he was back training again, and he was at this hill. And the summer times is where he spent most of his days there, running up and down this hill. And there's a point in talking to people that trained with him, if you got halfway up, you couldn't just stay halfway, because if you weren't settled right, you could actually fall back down the hill. And the guy, Kevin Kelly, who is actually now the GM at Clemson with Dabo Sweeney, he trained with my dad the last 7 years of his career. And Ricky, just to give you a picture of how my dad thought of this hill and what it meant to him, Kevin was running with him. He was in college at that time. He was training with my dad. He was going up one day, and there was glass bottles, all types of stuff all around that you could slice your foot up or your leg up. Well, at one point, Kevin went to go run up one of the sides, and following my dad slipped, and there was a bottle there, glass bottle, and he cut his leg, and he's gushing out with blood. And he said it was the first time that he ever questioned my dad, why are we here? And it was out of frustration. He stopped, and my dad kind of stopped up the hill a little bit more, and he goes, why are we here? This place stinks. It smells like garbage. It's hot. I don't know what, are my legs bleeding? And my dad came back down the hill, looked at Kevin in his face and said, listen, if I could turn up the heat, I would turn up the heat. If I can make it smell worse, I would make it smell worse. If your leg could bleed a little bit more, it would keep on. I would let it bleed a little bit more. Don't ever question why we're here. Get back up and let's go. And Kevin looked at him with these eyes like, this man this is a different breed. And Kevin went and ended up working out the rest of the way, but you never question why. And my dad's work ethic was top notch. And I think when you look at some of the great players that we all admire, they all have that in them. They are obsessed with the work. And it is almost never enough. And to see how obsessed he was with the work, the hill just speaks volumes. And Ricky, there's an old video, if you ever want to find it, people out there can find it, him talking about the hill. And I remember the first time hearing him talk about it on this tape, and I was like, what is he going to say? The guy goes, so tell me what the hill's all about. And he goes, well, I could explain it in one word, but you'll ask something else. He goes, basically, when I go out there on that hill, I try to kill myself. And I'll never forget listening to it. And I was like, whoa. Like my dad said, he worked himself out to exhaustion, to the brink of death to get himself ready for a football season. Hence the reason why we see the clips that we see of him on the football field. Your normal athlete, your normal running back was not doing that. And I think it's a big part of the success that he had on the football field.
It really speaks to what sets apart the legends from the guys who are merely great or merely outstanding. It makes me think of Jordan and Kobe, Brady, and these guys that, right when they've got everything. I mean, like right here, to me, the real challenge is when you're driving a Lamborghini and you still want to go out there and go up that hill and make it smell more like garbage and make it hotter. See, that to me is the thing, right? It's one thing to be hungry when you don't have anything. It's another thing to be hungry when you're famous and you're the best in the business and you've got the wealth and the toys to go with it. And Jarrett, here, I've tweeted about the Lambo before, and here's one of the tweets. I said, you didn't think that Walter Payton drove a Honda Civic, did you? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that I think you either quote tweeted me or replied to this or a similar tweet at some point about that car. Tell me about the Lambo and your dad taking you out in that bad boy.
So what happened was, Ricky, when he got that car, that was the day that he surpassed Jim Brown as the all-time leading rusher against the Saints. So I was 4 years old, and I remember them presenting it to him after the game. I was at the game, and I'm sitting there, and I just remember there's a vivid picture in my brain. Even though I was small, I still remember all these people surrounding the car. And he got done, press conference, got dressed, came back out. Everybody wanted to talk to him. And there was this moment where we get into the car. And as a kid, to see the doors go up like that, I was like, I've never seen anything like this before. Like this, as a 4-year-old, you're like, this is the coolest thing in the world. We get in, close the door, and security's trying to get us out back to the highway. And I just remember him looking over at me, and there was a moment, Ricky, where there was all these people around the car, hundreds of people, all screaming his name, but it just felt like the two of us. And all the sound was drowned out. And he looked at me and he was like, let's see how fast this thing can go. And I think that and also in his Porsche that he got like literally a couple years before he passed away, the fastest I've ever been in a car. So hitting like 175, 160, pretty crazy as a young kid in a car on your way back to South Barrington, Illinois. But one of those moments I'll never, ever forget. And I know he enjoyed that car, but how cool, Ricky. This dude is like got sweatbands on and he's got his hand on the car, like muscles bulging out. Like his fashion sense was ahead of his time too, wearing the ruse. I mean, he was the cool and the Jerry curl sprayed down.
He single-handedly made kangaroos a thing. Yeah, in the all-time first ballot Jerry Curl Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it. You know, that's just a fact. And your dad could sing too. You know, I remember the KFC record that he had. You know, that was actually a record, and I saw him singing "Twist and Shout." I mean, your dad enjoyed singing, and you know, he could do it. You know, he was pretty good.
Ricky, he was. A lot of people don't know this about him, that he was in the band before he started playing football his junior year in high school. And I think one of the requirements for him to, play football was that he wanted to still be in the band at halftime. And so I know there was no contract, but coach let him actually, he was the drums in the band. So at halftime, he would grab the drums and play the drums. And so just to know his love of music, it's so funny that my passion for music is pretty much the same, but the times of watching him sing, listen to music, and a lot of times on a weekend, like a Friday night, Saturday night, we went to whatever record store or CD store that you could imagine and just go listen to new music, grab CDs, and then jump in the car and just drive around. And so those are some of the greatest memories that I have of him.
All right, take me through a couple of fun ones here. Some of these I tweet periodically just because they're so great, and I want to make sure everybody, gets to see them eventually. One is when your dad went to the then WWF and paired up with Razor Ramon, Hey Yo, the bad guy, and Walter Payton forming an alliance here. I've tweeted, if seeing Walter Payton and Razor Ramon join forces doesn't fire you up, it's time to check your pulse. Jarrett, you were at the age there. I'm guessing you were probably around, I don't know. What were you, 12, 13?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what year that is, but that's kind of got to be the perfect age for your dad to go and hang out with WWF superstars. How much fun was that, and how much fun did your dad have?
Oh, my dad had a blast, Ricky. I mean, he was like made for this. And it was cool because I was there for, on the back end of all the cool stuff. So Razor Ramon came out and actually shot a video with him at his office. And I was there for that. And then I was at school and I knew that I was going to the event. It was at the United Center. It's like one of the first events at the United Center when it opened. And my buddy CJ and we were like, we were getting picked up. That's all I knew, is that we were getting picked up after school, the two of us, to go to the show. And all the kids were all upset at school. Like my boys, they were like, why are you only taking one of us? I'm like, listen, I can only take one. CJ's my boy. I got to take him. So I'm thinking one of our parents is going to take us and pick us up, meet up with my dad and so forth. Lo and behold, a limo picks us up at my middle school. And all the kids are outside. It's like, yo, there's a limo here. There's a guy standing out with my name on it. I'm like, are you kidding me? We drive down, meet up with my pops, and we get there. And I'll never forget walking into one of the dressing rooms. And my dad he's telling people that he needs his shirt cut here so you can see his chest and his muscles. And it's got to be tight enough to be able to, see his muscles out here. So I'm like, what? I walk in the door. Ricky, he's upside down on his hands. He's doing push-ups with his feet in the air, getting his muscles right so he can look big like some of these WWF guys, and walking around underneath the tunnel to see people who I was like, oh my gosh, it's Razor Ramon, or that's so and so. Where they were all doing the same exact thing to him. They're like, oh my gosh, it's Sweetness. Oh my gosh, it's Sweetness. They're shaking his hand. They're getting autographs signed, and then I remember them saying, taking us away because they had to go through the whole process of how the match was going to go. But they came to me and they were like, do you want to get in the ring? And I was like, heck yeah. They're like, you're going to be situated at the end. So you jump over when we give you the cue and jump in the ring with your dad and Razor Ramon. Hence that picture of the three of us with our hands up in the air like this. And I'm just like,
so cool.
These are like, my life is a movie. Like this is something that you see in a movie. And one of the coolest moments that I ever had with my father.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, I got one more here that I got to ask you about. I feel like this is my chance for the curtain to be pulled back. And some of these tweets, sometimes the funny thing about the tweet is that I don't know the context, right? So I just kind of I pretend I know what the context was. But Phil Collins, one of the ones that I have loved to tweet, I tweet it about twice a year, is your dad and Phil Collins. And I've given it different captions, but this is kind of the spirit of it. I said, right after this photo was taken, Phil Collins and Walter Payton teamed up on the best goddamn version of Sussudio ever. They look like they could do Easy Lover right there, Jarrett. Tell me the story behind how Phil Collins and Walter Payton end up posing in this photo.
Well, it's crazy to look at that picture and see that Phil Collins and my dad are like the exact same height. And my dad was a pro football player. Like it's mind boggling. That was when they were playing over in London, the Bears were. And so it was after a practice and Phil Collins brought out his son as well. And I guess he was just a fan of my pops and wanted to meet him, and they set it up. So when you see the video of it, you know, his son Simon is there. And I've always wanted to reconnect. I've been through the years trying to figure out how to reconnect because that moment is so big and it's one of my favorite pictures of all time. And just to see those two in college for me, In the Air Tonight that's what we played at it before our games. And so it was just that moment to get ready. And I see my dad standing next to him, and it just goes to show that, man, it doesn't matter. Greatness is respected between people in their craft. Just because you're an athlete or you're a musician, it doesn't really matter. Like, you have to be able to hone your craft, create your craft, and be able to share it with the world. And in the same way that you do that musically, you do that on the football field by scoring touchdowns, running over people. And so I just think that the hearing my dad's voice when he says Simon in the video, like, hey, Simon. And I'm like, man, you forget how big and strong he was, but how soft-spoken my father was as well. And so to be able to sign Simon's football, take that picture, an iconic moment in all of the pictures that are out there with my father.
Yeah, absolutely. And those of us of a certain age remember, and Phil Collins, he might have been the biggest pop star going at that time. I've tweeted before, every fourth song on the radio was either Genesis or Phil Collins there for a while when we were teenagers. Jarrett, I know that you've got a great thing going on here, partnering with the Hall of Fame, USA Today, Payton Productions, yourself. Tell me about awards of character, because this is something that looks terrific to me, and I can't think of a better representation than your dad and the Payton family.
Well, Ricky, you know, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award has become bigger than our family could ever expected it would be. And every single year we add another member to the family. But the Hall of Fame, we were there when I inducted Steve Mongo McMichael into the Hall of Fame. So it was like one of the first times that most of the family, my kids, got a chance to come to the Hall. And we got a chance to be there. And the Hall has been an amazing partner alongside of our family, and we're just so lucky to team up with them. And so they want to highlight the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, since there are a bunch of guys wearing gold jackets that have also won the award. And they thought that this would be a cool way to bridge off of that and add on to just the legacy. And so they came up with the awards of character, and we decided to team up with them. They called us, we linked up. And so now everyday heroes around the country, whether you're a serviceman or woman or firefighter, teacher, coach, someone in your community that's doing great work, you can go to the USA Today or the Hall of Fame's website and find a way to be able to nominate people. And then Brittany, my sister, and I, we are going to travel around the country and highlight these people's stories and what they're doing in their community. So for us, it's everything that my dad was all about. It's what our family is all about. Giving back in service is the rent that we pay while we're here on this earth. That's what my dad taught us. And so we are going to keep spreading that sweetness spirit around from generation to generation, keep passing it down. And this gives us an opportunity to be able to share people's stories that have that sweetness quality in them, and they're giving it back to the community. So we are very, very grateful. Our family's grateful, and we're looking forward to this new adventure that we're starting with the Hall of Fame and the USA Today.
Well, good luck with it. I think it's a great thing. And Jarrett, I just have to thank you so much. You know, you've been on my wish list as a guest for a while here because, you know, I know we never met, but, you know, I knew this was going to be a great conversation, and it definitely did not disappoint. Jarrett, I know your dad is looking down on you every day and so proud of what you've accomplished and the way that you're carrying on his legacy. And I just can't thank you enough for making some time for us here today.
Hey, Ricky, I truly appreciate that. That's a great, I just appreciate those words. But I want to say thank you to you again. You are an amazing man. You have, just to see everything and being from afar and watching you grow as a person, as a personality, it's amazing. It's a lot of hard work. I'm in this business too, so I know how tough it is. To see what you have done is outstanding. It's phenomenal. And the bigger you keep getting, man, you keep keeping my dad's legacy alive, man. And I'm just so honored that he could be that person that motivated you, that keeps striving you on a daily basis. That's what it's all about. So listen, our friendship, even though we never met, we met now. But anytime that you need me, man, I'm here for you. Just know that.
Thank you. And your words mean a great deal to me. I appreciate that. And such a pleasure. And one day we'll sit down and we'll have a beer. I'm sure we're in the same town. Our paths are going to have to cross eventually. Jarrett, so glad to have this conversation with you today. Continued great success with everything you're doing, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Take care.
And that was a lot of fun. There are some days in doing this, being the Super 70s guy hosting this show, where I pinch myself a little bit, Ronnie, and can't believe sometimes the people that I've gotten to meet, the associations that I've gotten to make through all of this. And I mean, Jarrett Payton, I'd known for a number of years, if he and I ever had an opportunity to have a conversation, that it was going to be a good one. And just what a terrific guy he is.
Yeah, man, you know, a lot of times I watch interviews, whether they're with you or with other people, and it feels sometimes like the guest they're going through the motions and they're just like, yeah, this is something I got to do. It's just part of the gig. But he really seemed to genuinely enjoy the conversation with you. And, you know, you can tell sometimes you look at somebody's eyes, you look at their facial expressions, and he just had some real looks of joy sometimes when you'd bring something up about his dad. And that's kind of what struck me about that. Was this didn't feel just like some interview that got booked and it's like, oh, I guess we're interviewing Jarrett Payton today. It was awesome. Like, I could see you guys being friends.
Thank you. Yeah, this was one that was a few years in the making. Jarrett has interacted with me for some years on Super 70s, so I knew that we were kind of like-minded, and let's face it, this is as close as you're going to get to talking to Walter Payton. I mean, that is the son of the man, and what a tremendous job he does along with the rest of the Payton family in celebrating and keeping Walter's legacy where it should be. You know, I have to commend them for that. I'm honored that anything that I do on Super 70s, and even by a small fraction, if that helps to keep the Payton name out there, then I'm humbled to be able to do that, Ronnie. Real quickly here, I'm going to do a little selfish gimme 5 here today. Yeah, this is a little personal gimme 5 here as the resident Chicago guy on this program. I'm going to give you my top 5 Chicago Bears legends of all time, and I'll begin with my number 5, Brian Urlacher. Yeah, that's right. And if you've been to Chicago lately, you drive around a little bit, you're going to see plenty of billboards for hair restoration, because that has become his post-playing legacy here in this town. I'm still not completely adjusted to non-bald Brian Urlacher. I don't know, Ron. He looks like a sitcom. He looks like a sitcom dad there.
He does look kind of goofy
with the hair. He does. He's happy though. That's all that matters. It's easy for me to talk about baldness with
you're a hair guy.
Head of hair that I have. Yeah, I'm a hair guy. He obviously was in a different boat, and I always thought he looked like a badass when he was bald. But he was sensitive. He wanted some hair, and now he's got it. So he checks in at number 5. Number 4 on my all-time Bears legends list. That man right there, Gale Sayers, who was doing Barry Sanders things before Barry Sanders was even born, as I tweeted here, and it's very true. You're talking about a guy, one of the most dynamic kick returner, punt returner of his era, and a guy whose career, unfortunately, was cut far too short by injury. But if you go back and look at some of the old NFL films footage, we were talking about that, how there's no button on the controller for the move that Walter Payton was making earlier. There were no moves on the controllers for the moves that Gale Sayers was doing, and he was doing those moves a generation before anybody had ever seen them before. Go do yourself a favor and look up some NFL films footage of Gale Sayers, because it's almost NFL pornography. It's so good. Number 3 on my list, the coach, Mike Ditka himself, and there's maybe the most Mike Ditka moment that there ever was, that ever Ditted, as I tweeted there. Everybody else has got the Packers. If you thought that Coach Ditka was going to take the Packers, you were very sadly mistaken, my friend. Not in Chicago. That's not how we do it here in this town. Number 2 on the list, Dick Butkus. Number 51, and there's some Green Bay Packers finding out that if Dick Butkus didn't know who had the ball, he would just tackle all of you motherfuckers to be on the safe side. An absolute beast. He followed me on Super 70s, which I always took to be an honor, engaged with the account on a few occasions. And the man is a legend among legends in this town. And number 1, well, have you been paying attention since the top of the show? Greatest that there ever was in the history of the Bears franchise, without a doubt, number 34, Sweetness himself, Walter Payton. And my friends, Fox is proud to announce the release of a new streaming service, Fox One. On Fox One, you can stream your favorite live sporting events from the NFL to college football, NASCAR, the MLB postseason, and a lot more. And the NFL season, as we know, is upon us. And you need to be catching all the games on Fox One. You can download Fox One, and you can put it right onto your device of choice. Maybe it's a tablet, maybe it's your phone, maybe it's your smart television. I don't know how your setup works, but I do know that Fox One has you covered any old way. Fox One, we live for live. Streaming now. So get the app and get in on that. And we are going to get into a break real quickly here, but we're not done yet. No. We have not emptied the bag entirely on this Tuesday. When we come back, a couple more surprises in store, and I'll be asking Ronnie the question that I love to ask him around this time in the day, and it will all happen straight ahead right here, right after this, on The Ricky Cobb Show. And welcome back to the program, my friends, as we come down the stretch drive here on this Tuesday. And let's take a look at poll replies here and reflect back on a day where it's not that competitive. Tim was complimenting me on the potential competitiveness of this poll, but French fries obviously too strong for all of you hungry motherfuckers out there. And I got to tell you, I may have to go order some after this show is over because it's sounding pretty good. 45% French fries will be moving on to Championship Friday. Rex Crumb, crinkle cut, shoestring, steak, waffle fries, garlic fries, cheese fries, animal style fries. Let's get some bacon crumbled onto some of those fries as
Poutine.
well. So many members of the Fry family. Yes, all are welcome at Rex Crumb's table. And by golly, I would dine with Rex Crumb anytime with that kind of good judgment. Jason says French fries in a new car driving to the arcade to play Pac-Man. Just be careful. Just be careful, Jason. You don't want to have any kind of spills in your new car. The Moops says my style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Those Mike Tyson's words about one Donovan Razor Ruddock. That's a direct quote, as the Moops has laid out there. Mike Tyson really said that. Only person who's ever used the word impetuous and the word impregnable before saying that he wants to eat someone, other than maybe Hannibal Lecter, who was capable of that. But right now, I'm going to turn the car keys over to a man who is quite capable of handling this next segment. Sometimes I don't know if I'm quite capable of handling the truths that he shares, but I'm going to take a deep breath, work up my courage, and ask anyway. What the fuck, Ryan?
Last year, we were having some deep college football conversation, and I decided to appoint myself the new college football czar. Well, Ricky, I'm going to institute a rule, and it's going to be called the Haley Sawyer rule. And what that is if you have a vote in any of the polls, you have got to pass a basic test about football knowledge, because this girl, woman, I don't know, she voted Florida. Are you ready for this, Ricky? 2 spots higher after they lost to South Florida. And I'm legitimately angry. Here's her response to how and why this happened.
But as far as what my votes are and what my process is, I wake up early in the morning after covering a game late in the night before. Don't want to go too much into my progress or process or logic, but I will say I appreciate everybody's interaction on social media and all of your feedback. There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system, but at the end of the day, no matter who you pick, it does even out because there's so many people who vote. And like I said, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end, but I'm glad that people are having a really good time with it.
I legitimately hate her.
Okay, Ron, how did this happen? How did somebody who obviously appears to have no fucking idea what they're doing, what the task is, why it's important, how it should work? I mean, what was Florida, 18.5-point favorites?
Yeah.
Okay, so you shit the bed in a game that you're almost 3 touchdown favorites, and she moves them up.
Do you know
That's
what's worse?
disqualifying, Ron.
You know what's worse than her
Either
moving
you're
them
an
up 2
idiot
spots?
or you're not paying attention, or both.
What's worse than moving them up 2 spots was that response. That flippant,
Yes.
I'm good, people are having fun with it. I'm just a funny girl. I wake up, I don't know my process. I legitimately hate her, Ricky.
Good Lord, Ron.
Can we just go ahead and send that to social right now? Can we get that in social's hands immediately? What just happened here?
Ricky,
That's
here's the
moment
deal.
that we've been waiting for 14
I already
months with this
I
program.
already had 2 WTFs.
13 months.
I had 2 WFs in the chamber. Tim and Jarrett already had them ready to roll. And then probably around 1 o'clock, I saw this and I texted him. I'm like, guys, I need this in today. Can we make it happen? Legitimately had a visceral reaction when I saw it, Ricky.
Ron, I can't even add anything to what you said. I mean, she obviously, it's funny to her. Tee-hee.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's not really that important. Lots of people vote. I don't want to get into my process right now. As if she fucking has one, Ron. What is her process? Wouldn't you
Again,
love to see her process?
Her posts are all now hidden, Ron.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to get the
Oh,
comments.
no.
Again,
Yeah.
Ricky, in case you forgot this moron's name, it's Haley Sawyer. The Haley Sawyer rule. Just so
Love
you
it,
remember.
Ron. She's an adjunct professor.
Dude, and
Yeah, it's some made up college, College of the Canyons.
College
or
of the
something.
Canyons in CSUN.
Yeah, whatever that is.
all right, look, when I was growing up, my buddy Jay and I, every week, college basketball and college football, we would make the RCJC top 20.
Love
This
it.
is back when it was top 20, not top 25. We would have the RCJC top 20. Shout out to my buddy Jay Cruz. He's a dentist now, and we would each rank, and then we would put our polls together. We would do the math, and then we would put out the joint poll. We definitely, at the age of 12, took that responsibility, even though nobody gave a fuck except for us. We took that responsibility more seriously than Haley Sawyer takes the real thing, which is pretty fucking sad.
Yeah, again, I legitimately hate her. Real quick, Ricky, last week, I believe it was last week, we were talking about Dylan Raiola and how he just desperately wants to be Patrick Mahomes. Well, he's at it again.
Mahomes' doppelganger.
He's at it again. Yes. He's at it again. That's not Dylan Raiola, Ricky. Who is it? It's his star tight end proposing to marry his girlfriend.
Oh, no. It's Timu Travis Kelce who's proposing to his girlfriend. Oh, my God. And this kid's ambition is obviously to be on every commercial.
Do you
for the
think,
next 5 years?
Do you think that Dylan
like
has started to talk like Patrick? You know, that kind of Kermit the Frog voice?
I was going to ask if Dylan has a contemptible younger brother that we would all
actually
hate.
No, he does. He actually does have a younger brother who I think committed to Nebraska, and I think he's a little on the weird side, like what's his name, Jackson Mahomes.
Okay, yeah, Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah,
it's like God. He's the Billy Ripken of the Mahomes family. God gave all the talent to Patrick, and then Jackson was like, hey, and I'm in the family too. Let me cut a TikTok video on the field before the game. All right, well, congratulations to the young tight end right there. Locking down another tight end from the looks of it, Ron, from what I could see. But with that being said, Ronnie, appreciate you as always, my friend. My thanks to Jarrett Payton today. Huge thanks, in fact. That one was special. They're all special, but some of them are extra specialer. And this one today for me was that. My thanks as well to Molly and Colin in Nashville, to PA Jarrett, and of course, the finest producer in the industry. He is Producer Tim. But most of all, I thank you, you sweet bastards, because you're the reason that we do this. You're the reason that this is so much fun. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I love you guys. You can find us, as always, on Fox Nation, Outkick.com, and YouTube. In fact, make sure that you check out The Ricky Cobb Show, which is the name of our YouTube channel. Head over there and subscribe, won't you? That would help with this endeavor, and hopefully you'll like what you see. You can also find us in podcast form on both Apple and Spotify, and we're out there as well on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, X, where I'm not hard to find at all as the Super 70 Sports Guy. Drop by, pay me a visit later today. It gets lonely when you don't. And most of all, let's make a deal that we're going to meet right back here again tomorrow when we will tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.